Hi there, Mark here again. Welcome to this, which is part 3 of my build guide for the GF01 chassis, where we're going to be building the Tamiya Heavy Dump Truck. This is how far we got last time. So we've got the chassis complete and gearbox. We've got all the suspension on and the motor mounted. I think that was up to step 16. So let's get on with step 17 and get this truck finished. So as you can see, step 17 is basically connecting all your electronics up, getting the battery connected, and basically you need to centre up your servo so that the servo is in neutral position. So set your controller with neutral trim, flick it left and right a few times, and then disconnect, and hopefully that will be in the central position. I do recommend you do that. Don't skip over that, because if it isn't central, you're going to have trouble when you're setting up the steering later. Okay, so with that out of the way, okay, so you need the part B11 or B12 to fit onto your servo, whichever fits yours. This is B12, fits mine I think, and just make sure it fits on okay over the splines. Once you've got that sorted, you need part B6, which is this part, which is the kind of plastic spring that just clips over, and then you need part D5. You can see I've already put in the 5mm ball joint, which will show you how to do later, but I've put that in already, and that just clips in there. And then you need to fit that onto your servo in this position here. You just move that, you can see. So we need to try and match up with that angle as close as you can. You won't get it exactly right. I think that's somewhere near. Then you need MA7, which is kind of a tuft washer, and whichever screw fits your servo, and we'll just get that tightened up. Okay, once you've done that, what I always do, you've probably seen before, is just get the servo to the end of its stroke, and then if you push, you should be able to see the servo saver doing its job with the jaws opening up there, or the spring opening up. Just make sure that that does move freely. On to step 18, which is connecting these posts C11 to the servo with 2 screws and sorting out the steering linkage. So first thing we're going to do is get this C11, make sure it's the right way around, so with those raised parts at the back, and you just want to put in your 10mm screw with a washer into that bottom hole there, and the same on the other side of the servo, like so. And then you've got your linkage, which I've already screwed in the 3 5mm ball joints into the holes. Note the orientation, it should look like that. And then you just pop in your 2 850 bearings or bushings, whichever you have, like that. And I've got to say, you do need to give those a good push to get those in. So that's step 18. On to step 19, which is making up the tie rods. You need to make 3 of these. There's 2 already made up. So you just need to get your 37.7mm bar, I think it is, and your black 5mm ball ends. Basically screw one onto each end of your rod. Just do that up until it's 24mm. You can just use the diagram and match it up on there. That's what I do. Let's just check. Yep, that's about right. So with those 3 made, get your steering linkage, and you just need to pop these on, one onto each ball, obviously, like so. On to step 20, where we're just going to fit that steering linkage into the chassis. All you'll need for this is that metal bar, which is an MC12, and a 20mm screw. Basically copy the alignment in the diagram. So get your linkage like this, and feed that arm through, and then line the bearings up in the hole. And once you've got it lined up, you pop in that bar. So use a screwdriver to push it all the way in, and then your 20mm screw goes into that hole there, and that just stops that bar from falling out. And just give that nip up. And just to finish this step off, all you need to do is connect up those tie rods onto the steering arms. Okay, so there's the two connected. On to step 21, which is where we're going to attach the steering servo. So, and to get that assembly we did before. Okay, so the servo is going to mount on the side here using that hole there and that hole there. So it's going to fit on something like that. So first of all, get your 10mm screw, just pop it through that hole at the front, and then you need a long screwdriver. Goes from the other side of the chassis, and just we'll get that one nipped up first, and put the second 10mm screw into that slotted hole. Again, go through the other side of the chassis through, and do up the second screw. And just to finish this step, all we need to do is connect that other tie rod onto the servo. So step 22 is installing, it says RC units, basically it's your electronics. You also need this kind of sponge tape. It says to cut here, got two pieces here that are 10mm long and one that's 80mm long, so I'll just cut those. And the longer piece, looks like we're going to put it on the bottom of this part here, which is D6, which is like your battery holder, your battery strap, something like that I think. And the two smaller parts you've got to put at the bottom there of the battery holder, the battery tray I should say. I think that's just to stop the battery from rattling around. So yeah, so that's those fitted. And then get this part, and it says fit it on now, so I'm going to fit that into the slot at the back, and they should locate there. You need a couple of R clips to hold that on, and basically we're going to use double-sided tape to fit on our electronics, so I'll just get that done now. Okay, so I've fitted the electronics kind of how it shows in the layout. I've got the switch at the back there. It says just double-sided tape, but I've put a zip tie around as well just to hold that switch on. Then I've got my receiver, then I've got the TBL-E02, this is my ESC there, the double-sided taped onto that clip, and I've just tried to tidy it up like it shows in step 23, putting the zip ties around those cables, but it does say you need to leave them long enough to be able to take the battery cover off. Well, actually I've left mine a bit tighter than it shows, but you only need to lift it up a short way to be able to get the battery in and out, so I'm hoping that's going to be okay as it is. It's a bit of a mess like that, but there's no other way around it I don't think. Okay then, let's go on to step 24. So step 24 is attaching the wheelie bar, so you need parts F7, F6 and F8, and you need 6 3x10 screws and this metal bar which is an MC11. Simply put the bar in, put the wheel on, snap the two halves together and just put in your two 3x10 screws. And then we're just going to attach this to the rear of the chassis. It's got the locating lugs there, so it just clips on, and put your four screws in. With those 4 screws done, it's on to step 25, where it shows that we need to refer to the body instructions. It shows you here, you need part C5 for the front, C8, oh sorry, C5 for the rear, C8 for the front, so there's your C8s. And the C5s, it does show you've got to trim off a little bit. I'm not sure why, I think it may be for the wheels that might catch, or the tyres I should say. So basically, if you can see that there, you just shave a little bit off that part there, one on each side. So now I'm just going to use the 10mm screws and attach those now. Okay, so that's the 4 body posts fitted as shown in the instructions. So now we're on to 26, which is basically just putting the tyres on the wheels. Yeah, I'm not going to film that bit, you just kind of squeeze them over the rims and yeah, on they go. Make sure you get them seated, and yeah, simple as that. So get them on. Make sure you get them on the right way though, so you need 2 for the left and 2 for the right, with the chevrons pointing forwards. Now we're going to fit those in step 27 onto the chassis. Fitting each wheel is exactly the same, so you just need your small pin, you need your bushing or your bearing, and you need the yellow part, which is a D4, which is going to drive the wheel. So yeah, we'll just put the first one on. So first of all, push your bearing into the carrier, the wheel carrier. Then you need your pin. It's easy to drop these, so yeah, just be careful with putting this in. And we just need to get that lined up with one of these slots on the back of the hex adapter, and simply make sure your tyres go in the right direction. This is the front, so it goes like that, and then all we need is your 4mm flange lock nut and get that on. So we'll just do that up, and exactly the same for the other 3 wheels. Okay, with all 4 wheels fitted, it's wider than it is long now. All I need to do is step 28 to finish the chassis, really, and that's just fitting on the front bumper, which is this great big thing. And you need your 2 springs, which are those, and it just goes on the front here using these 3x21 screws. So yeah, we'll just get that on, and then that'll be finished, and we'll have a look at the body. So we don't need the manual anymore. All we need is the instruction sheet like this for the body. Okay, so what it's shown is to apply some black paint to the front grille and to these, I think they're exhaust stacks, which I've done pretty badly really. I've hand painted those on and hand painted those, but hey, you know, I don't think there's not that much detail on it anyway. So all we got to do now after that is put on the stickers. So I'm just going to cut these out. I'm not going to bother going through the process of sticking these on, because you basically cut round them and stick them in place. So I'll just get that done and show you what it looks like. So that's all the stickers fitted. There's just the windows, there's the Tamiya one there, and there's the 4 lights, and Tamiya on the side. There's that looks like an indicator or something there, and then there's 2 on the tailpipes. So with that, all you need is your stickers, the dump truck on the side, and like just whatever you want to put on really, one on the front. So that's that, and then all we've got to do now is fit on these parts H1 and H2, which will hold the cab onto the chassis. I've done the one. It's 2 10mm machine screws and some lock nuts and washers on there. I think these only go on one way, so yeah, with the ribs to the outside, these ribs, and the C shape pointing backwards. So yeah, just get your screws in. So we'll just get this one done up, and then we'll put the other one in, and that's those brackets finished. Okay, so it should look like that when it's done. So it does say to put these kind of struts in, you can see there, and I think these are for, it says for display purpose, and it can prop up the bed or the dump part, but I'm not going to bother with that because I'm not going to use it for display purposes, and I think they're just going to flap about. So put those on if you want to. And the last thing to finish the preparation of the cab off are these like hex screws, it says, or hex mounts. You can see there's one in there. Put another one in this side, and that's going to hold the bed on. Okay then, so all that remains is to get this fitted onto the chassis. So I think it's just a matter of feeding these through the 2 holes at the front, and then we've got to clip these 2 C shapes onto the actual chassis itself. You can see where they've gone on there. So that's that, and a couple of R-clips in the front. I'll trim those down later. So that's that. It's a bit wobbly, I've got to say. And then fit the bed on. And with the bed on, it's that big you can't see it now in the camera view. So it's there you go, guys. It's actually finished. I hope you can see that there. Let's see if I can zoom out anymore. Yeah, there you go. Right, so that's your Tamiya Heavy Dump Truck finished. I tell you, it's been a great fun building this one. It does look rather good actually. I think it's quite a cool looking little thing. What I'll do is I'll try and get some shots for you outside with a decent camera so you can see what it looks like, and hopefully you'll join me on the first run and we'll see how she goes. All that remains for me to say is thanks for following along. I hope you've enjoyed it and I hope to see you soon. Bye.